Hello. Well, I never thought I'd ever be making a video in support of Jimmy Carr, but here I am doing just that. I think Jimmy Carr is a dreadful little man. I've never liked his shows. I've never liked his comedy, which I've always found very dark and very biting. And if he's in a show, I very often switch off. However, a lot of people do find him very funny, and indeed, even I, disliking him personally, find him very funny in small pieces. And I'm not talking about carving him up. Oh, there goes the monetization. Look, he's a comedian, and furthermore, he's one who specialises in that particularly nasty, biting sort of humour, of which his joke, the famous one, the one that's causing all the fuss, is just one. I've seen him make much worse jokes when he's talking person to person with somebody in one of the suicide seats at the front of the audience. It's just the way he is. When you listen to Jimmy Carr, you expect that sort of thing. Now, this joke is slightly more extreme than most, I admit, but it is just one more of his type of humour. Now, some of you will remember Count Dankula, Mark Meechan. Some of you may still be listening to his shows because he does a series about Mad Lads, which is very good, and yeah, he's a very funny man, Mark Meechan. And he got his kickstart into the world of comedy making a Holocaust joke, and it was to do with his dog, and it was definitely nothing anti-Semitic, and there was a pylon, and it's full of a lot of self-righteous people who like to prove to themselves rather than others how fair-minded and non-anti-Semitic they were. And quite frankly, people like that I get very suspicious about, or any sort of when they get whipped up about any sort of a joke about race or ethnicity. Yeah, and I'm quite proud to say I supported Count Dankula as soon as I'd heard about the situation he was in, and I even contributed money. I really did put my money where my mouth was. In the case of the dreadful Mr. Carr, I shouldn't think that money would be a problem for him, but I'm still defending him in a very grim sort of way. It was indeed a very funny joke, and it wasn't a joke about the poor buggers who found themselves at the business end of the Nazi extermination machine, was it? It was poking fun at the prejudice and bigotries of all of us, but especially it's caught the prejudice and bigotries of people who don't like to admit that they have such awful character failings. Let's face it, you can't find anyone more prejudiced or bigoted than a woke warrior. And when someone like Carr steps in and exposes their bigotry to themselves, well, there's no one angrier about it than someone who won't admit it to themselves. So, Jimmy Carr, I don't like you, but you have every right to make a joke like that, and well, more power to your elbow, I suppose. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Graniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm, or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.graniopteryx.com, and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share, share, share.